One moment. Okay, can you hear me now? This is okay. Excellent now. I'm still getting used to Streamlabs OBS or Streamlabs desktop versus StreamYard that I used to use. So, for whatever reason, it had taken my audio off of that one. So, but hey, I'm glad to see some people join me. What I was saying, I'll repeat because it wasn't much, but I am packing up this room to move to a new house. And so hang out with me, watch WWE Raw, talk about wrestling as I pack up my figures that you see behind me on the tables. And maybe, I'll end up getting to the Funkos up there as we go on this. But I haven't done a live stream in a while. I kept meaning to do a live stream as I unbox the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus some new inbox figures that I have not had a chance to unbox yet. Those who know me know that I like to have my figures breathe. Toys are meant to be enjoyed, not just looked at in boxes. But I also argue that collectors need people like me. If you collect AEW action figures or WWE action figures, you need someone like me to open them up. Because we open them up, it makes them more rare. And when it makes them more rare, it makes yours new inbox worth more. So, I like to let him breathe. This is one that I got, can't remember whether it was just a Lucy. I think it was a Lucy at a store. But it is, What About Me, What About Raven? It's about the ugliest Raven face you'll ever see. It doesn't look much like him, but I was a Raven fan back in the WCW days. So I saw it in a Lucy, and I figured I'd had to have it. I think it used to talk or something. I don't know exactly which series this is. I could look it up. But it has contacts on the bottom, so I think it used to. I think WWE used to have a set where, like, the entrance ramp or something, where you could set them down and they would make a sound or maybe make their music play. I didn't collect back in those days much, so I don't know for certain. But anyways, I got me a Raven. Nice to see you, Mark Jack, over on Twitch, Grim Reaper on TikTok. Thank you both for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. And, figuring out technical issues is all sorts of fun. One of the funs of live streaming, isn't it? But so, yeah, watching WWE Raw as I pack. Also, for those of you in the U.S. Watching, it is Veterans Day. So salutes to all the veterans out there who have served the U.S. Thank you all. That's all I can say. Both my grandpas served in World War II. I have uncles who served. My dad, unfortunately, was not allowed to serve due to a medical condition. He was diagnosed diabetic right before his 18th birthday. So first one I'm putting in the box is going to be Raven. Since he's just a Lucy, he's not set up, I can just set him straight in the box at the bottom. You'll notice most of the figures I have out on display are AEW figures. I do have some WWE figures, and then I have a fair amount of figures of this man. The Icon, Sting. So this is one of them. This one's from a line, it's more similar to a Barbie. It's not quite the same size as a Barbie size, but it's bigger than the regular action figures. I want to say it's a 9-inch figure. It's got a real cloth there, real cloth on his outfit. Favorite figure I have of them all, to be perfectly honest, this one's pretty high on there, but there's a set in the back here. I'll show you a little bit later. It's one of the ones I kept in the box, although it's not sealed, so I can open it up. But it's the Evolution of Sting set, and so it's got 6 different Stings, all the way from Surfer Sting up to Wolfpack Sting, and the various different ones before. And so that's pretty high on my list. In terms of like AEW figures, what's my favorite one? I don't know. I really like the Cody Supreme series that I have. And then I do have a AEW Sting. I have a couple of AEW Stings, but I've got one of the nicer AEW Stings. And actually, in a box down here, I've got the Supreme Series Sting. I haven't had a chance to open yet, but Sting's my favorite of all time, so Sting figures probably there. I do like my Kenny Omega figures. Over here, I've got some older WWE figures that I really like. That were from, I can't remember what the name of the series was. It was back in the 90s, or maybe early 2000s. Early 2000s, I think. And it was, each figure came with a corner of a ring, complete with a ring post, and then ropes, plastic ropes you could set up. And then they weren't very posable. I'll show you because I've got 3 of them over there. They weren't very posable, but they were very well sculpted. And I have a Jeff Hardy, an Edge, and a Lita. I never was able to get a 4th one, but those are probably high on my list of favorites as well. But this Sting is up there. I really like the cloth goods jacket, although the pleather is really weird. But it doesn't fold very well. But it is super nice to have. It's a really nice head sculpt as well. Getting the simplest ones because they're right behind me, easy to grab. I have Penta El Zero Miedo. And he's doing a little hand thing. I don't know how well you can see it on there, but he's doing it. So I have him. And his brother Rey Fenix, both of whom are soon to no longer be in AEW if all the reports are true. Wish I knew whose sunglasses those go to. Those will go in my little thing. Some of these take a little bit of force to pull up because I have them held in place with sticky tack. This is one of my Supreme series. DMD. And I do really like it. It's not as wrestling friendly, though, because she's wearing high heels that can't be changed. And I don't believe she came with a different set of legs. I'll just pull this out so I have it out. This is my box of extra pieces for a lot of them. Oh, I might have kept hers in the Supreme Series box. I don't know. I'll have to look. But yeah. So, the DMD. Take a short break from AEW and go to the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Complete with the Intercontinental belt and removable Bret Hart sunglasses. I really hope I don't lose those. But I do really like this one. Bret Hart was one of my favorites growing up. I've always said that while Sting is my favorite wrestler of all time, it's weird. My favorite match of all time does not involve Sting. My favorite match of all time is Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in the 60-minute Iron Man match. So this is before the Montreal Screwjob. This was at WrestleMania 7, I think. I'm going to have to look it up because my memory ain't so great for it, but let's look it up to be certain. WrestleMania 12. I had the 2 after a 5, but it was a 2 after a 10. X2. But that's my favorite match of all time. Don't get old, kids. Your memory goes to shit. Favorite match of all time. 60-minute Iron Man match. 0 falls. Until overtime. Loved it. How many matches have I gone to live in person? So, I haven't gone to as many as some wrestling fans. Gotta scoot over, but I'm moving off to the side. I live in Nebraska, which is not super high population and not super high priority for wrestling events. WWE comes to Lincoln or Omaha once, maybe twice a year. I grew up 3 hours east or west of Lincoln and Omaha. So I didn't get to go to them too often then. I went to a couple. There was a few times they stopped near me. So prior to 2000, I had gone to like 3 shows. A WCW house show that was near me, and then like a WCW Nitro and maybe a SmackDown or something. I'm not sure. In 2001, I lived for a brief period of time down in New Orleans, where I was able to go to one of the last Nitros. I didn't know it was one of the last Nitros at the time, but it was one of the last ones at the time. Since then, when I moved back here, now I live in Omaha, where, like I say, WWE comes about once a year. My collection, yeah, you're going to see my collection some more here. Like, let me grab another one. I mentioned this one earlier. This is my Supreme Series Cody Rhodes. The only thing I wish, it's a plastic. plastic jacket for him. And I know this would be probably hard to make cloth goods, but this plastic feels crappy. Feels like rubber, but it looks really good. And it's got a good head sculpt, and like I say, I've got the spare heads in the box or whatever. So there is Cody Rhodes. And like I said, I've got a bunch that are yet to be unboxed. For instance, this is off of the AEW, but I recently got to pick up the Edge and Kane. Fuck you, Kane, but I like Edge, and it was $14 at Target on clearance. So I'll take that. I got this is the one that I can't wait to unlock. I can't wait to open this package. The multiple different head sculpt, the mask that he can wear. It's in his hand. The mask he can wear to do the Sting. To do the Sting. Oh, it's someone pretending to be Sting, and then he takes off the mask. It's actually Sting. This thing I can't wait to open. But like I said, I've got to pack all this shit up to move, so I'm not going to open those until I have a chance to do it at my new place. But that's why I'm packing all this stuff up. Let's go on the topic of Sting. This is my second newest Sting. This one, like the Cody Rhodes, is the plastic, kind of rubbery plastic jacket. But I like the head sculpt on it a lot, and it comes with the bat. It's got the little scorpion on the back of his jacket. It's really good. I like it a lot. Just turning around and grabbing. Oh, the sticky tack working its magic here. This one is one I'm glad I picked up. Can't remember where. I think I got this as a Lucy, but I'm not sure. But no, it can't have been a Lucy. I've got too many accessories. It is. Ooh, yeah. Macho Man, he's here. The madness. Oh, yeah. The black and white Macho Madness. It's got the cloth goods shirt on it. The bandana comes off. The glasses come off. I might actually take those off before putting it in the box, because those are little things and will probably get lost if I put it in the box with those. That's why I've got this nice little thing to put those little pieces in. But yeah, welcome to anyone who's here. Yep, just hanging out, watching Raw, and packing up all of my stuff. I also have stuff in this room that's not wrestling related, but I saw that. The Macho Man just talked a little bit of smack, and he's like, "Ooh, suck my dick." MJF never changes. Never. I don't know whose sunglasses those are. They're probably Sammy Guevara's, I bet you. Okay. Yeah, MJF, you gotta love him. Commits to the bit. To go with my black and white Macho Man, I have the NWO Total Package Lex Luger. Also with the cloth goods. I just wish they'd just default to cloth goods. I just hate the plastic stuff so much. Not a super, My favorite thing in my collection, I'll actually show you. The Cody's up there. I have a Sting thing in my collection. Let me grab it. I'll just show it to you guys now. It's my favorite thing. It's just kind of buried back there a bit, but it's worth at least showing. This is my favorite thing in my collection. It's beat up. It survived. I bought it at Toys R Us. No, it's a KB Toys store. A KB Toy store probably in 2000. And held on to it ever since. It survived multiple moves. It's a little beat up, but I keep it in the box. It is not sealed. I can open the box and pull them out, but I keep them in the box because I like the box. It is the Evolution of Sting. It is 6 figures that go from, let's see if I can do this here, Surfer Sting. Then his hair getting a little less dark, and then the first version of Crow Sting, and then the Wolfpack Sting, and then the later Crow Sting. And I can actually open it up like this, and you can see the figures better. This is my favorite thing. It's probably not worth anything in the condition that it's in. But it's my favorite. And you know, my complaint about the plastic, some of these have cloth goods and some of these have plastic for their stuff. But, you know, the cloth goods for the robes for the Surfer Stings are excellent. And so this is my favorite thing. And like I said, it's not sealed. The tape's been opened and I could pull them out if I wanted to. But I like this box holding them all together. It's Toy Biz, which I don't even think Toy Biz exists anymore. So, but that's my favorite thing. Second favorite thing, probably the Cody Supreme series. If we get away from the Stings, it's probably Cody Supreme. I do like, this is one I haven't opened yet. I've debated on it, but it is a limited edition, and so that's kind of the reason it stays in box. It is the AEW Street Fighter Kenny Omega as Akuma. And it's pretty high up there. I really want to open it, but at the same point, it being a limited edition, I kind of drop back and forth on. So, it may or may not get opened at some point. I'm one of those, I have to find it in the wild, and unfortunately, I just don't think, I don't think this area gets them as often as other places. Also, I do have an issue with AEW's distribution. I don't, because they release them in these smaller waves, with only 6 figures in each wave. I had a Walmart near me that had like 18 Eddie Kingstons. Because people didn't want to buy Eddie Kingston. No one, I mean, I this is not dissing Eddie Kingston. I love Eddie Kingston as a wrestler. But almost no one looks at Eddie Kingston because I can't wait to own that action figure. You know? And because they release them in these small things, you know, the stores, they order, let's say, 3 cases. And each case has one of each in there. And they put them out on the shelves. And the ones that sell. And then they're left with the ones that don't. And then they sit there and they go, well, I'm not going to order more until these sell. And then they just sit there, and it bugs me. And it doesn't seem to be a problem WWE has. And I think it's because their lines typically have 12 wrestlers in them, so they don't get hit by this as much. But I like to try to find them in the wild, and that's the only one I got to see in the wild, so I had to get that Akuma one. You mentioned Orange Cassidy. He's definitely on my list of favorites. I love this action figure so much, and I love it so much because it's got a real cloth denim jacket for him, and a real cloth t-shirt underneath it. So it's so badass. I love this. Okay, good. His glasses aren't going to fall off, I don't think. So I can keep those on him. But so this Orange Cassidy is. Oh yeah, I bet you I know exactly which Britt Baker you have 16 of at your current Walmart. This one right here. 16 of this one. Just like hanging out on the shelves. Like, and I like Britt Baker. Why I bought this. But my local Target has, like, they could start their own store of Britt Bakers. And then to go with the Orange Cassidy, which I do, like, again, I really like this figure. I also have Chucky T. I used to have them displayed with Orange Cassidy with his arm around Chucky T. And it broke my heart when they broke up the best friends. And it just broke my heart. I couldn't bring myself to tear down my little display of the best friend. But now that I'm moving, I have to. So, here, I have Trenty Locks. Yep. Good old Trent Beretta. This is before he cut his hair. Trent Beretta. You know what I should do? Give me 1 second here. This will probably help. Get a little light on those faces. There's Trent. Again, that plastic coat. I don't hate it that much with this one because it's supposed to be kind of a leather jacket sort of a thing. And once you take it off, he's superposable. So, and then to also go with the best friends, Chris Statlander in her Galaxy's Greatest Alien gimmick. No longer with the country. There is the Dark Order back there. I'll get to them in a second. No longer with the company, but I do have the Skull Mask Andrade here. The mask can come off, I believe. Or he's got an extra head, I think. I'm not sure. But I'm going to keep the skull mask on because I like it better that way. Let's see, I bet you I have his head in here. No. Yep, there we go. Andrade head. So, well, since you mentioned the Dark Order, I haven't been able to find Alex Reynolds in stores yet. But I do have Johnny Hungy, complete with his plastic jacket. I think he came with another face, but I liked the smiley face, so I kept that in there. And I have the man himself, Brody Lee, complete with his rolled up papers and his stack of papers. to throw. I think they're big enough I don't have to take them off. And then the TNT title, the red strap TNT title. I have... This is my newer... Oh, before I get too far past, I do also want to point out... Waiting to be unboxed, I have the suit version of Brody Lee as well. So once I get set up at my news place, I'll do a whole unboxing of all of those. But so this is the One-Winged Angel. Yep, found that in the wild. I wasn't planning on buying that day, but I saw it, and I was like, oh, it looks like I got to get Brody Lee. Sarah's like, don't you already have him? And I was like, oh, yeah. I have a version of him, but I don't have this version, so I am getting it. I really like this Kenny. I do wish the jacket was cloth good, but that's fine. I love having the AEW title on him. And he's doing the bang. Good night. And good luck, bang. And he's got the AEW title. I'm also hoping we see Kenny back really soon in AEW. I think we will. He's doing that over in New Japan, so I think that implies that he's probably cleared to return. So, but going along with Kenny, I have this Kenny. This is the other One-Winged Angel, Kenny Omega, in the wrestling gear. And like this one as well. Hi, kitty cat. Almost done with this shelf. I have Anxious Millennial Cowboy. Bang! Complete with, this was the Walmart version that had the pitcher for beer instead of the beer glass. I really need another Hangman Page, but this is the only one I have right now, so I'll live with what I got. We'll look at a few that I haven't unboxed and probably might for maybe obvious reasons. I found this one at Walmart right after he was fired. So I thought, maybe I keep this one in the box. Maybe this one stays in the box. But I'm debating on it because it's got the cloth goods jacket that says Larry on it. And it's got the full leggings, the blue with the red stars. And I'm a CM Punk fan. Even though he's a whiny little bitch. I think wrestling is better with CM Punk involved in it. I think CM Punk missed the opportunity to make fucking money by just turning heel and leaning into the heat in AEW. But he and the Young Bucks could not be fucking adults about it and cost us that. Ring of Honor Punk at Target. See, my Targets suck. One of my Targets doesn't even have a spot for AEW figures anymore. They just don't. And the other one right now has a couple Britt Bakers, and that's it, like 2 pegs for AEW figures. And then this is another one that I kept in box for similar reasons. Because he went to WWE, and I thought maybe the AEW version of his figure. Plus, again, I already had the Supreme edition that I had unboxed and everything. So I was like, maybe I keep the suit version of Cody in the box. Possibly. I'm tempted always on it, but I do like the suit version Cody a lot. And like my complaints with CM Punk for not just manning up and I have some complaints with Cody. I think heel Cody is way better than face Cody. Me too. They were really tough to find around me. But heel Cody, way better, superior to face Cody. And in AEW, Cody was so determined to be face. He wanted to be the good guy. I gotta be the good guy. And that held him back. He did that. Oh, if I lose this match, I'll never challenge for the world title. And then he stuck to it. And the logical conclusion to that storyline was him turning heel and saying, I'm not going to live by that, and going after the world title. And I know why he did it, because he did it with the whole purpose of, hey, I want to show that I'm not being that EVP that like books himself to win the championship. I get it. I understand it. But after a few years of AEW, you had Chris Jericho, you had Kenny Omega, you had Hangman Page as champions, right? A perfect storyline would have been for Cody to turn heel, go back on his word, and go after that title. He would have been the biggest heel in the business. And you know what? When his contract came up, he would have gotten fucking paid by Tony Khan. Tony Khan's hands were tied when his contract came up, because Tony Khan's like, I can't justify paying you the money you want if you're not going to ever challenge for the title. You can't be the top guy in this company if I cannot have you challenging for the title. And I know you want to be the top guy, and I know WWE wants you to be the top guy. I cannot pay you like the top guy if you are not able to wrestle for the title. And, you know, if Cody had just turned heel, he'd still be in AEW. He'd be making bank there. Everything would be great. He's doing fine in WWE. I'm getting a little bored of face Cody. Heel Cody is the GOAT. Face Cody, nah. And then this one, I also debate a lot on opening. Sammy Guevara is one of my favorite up-and-comers. But I already have a Sammy Guevara over there. So I was like, well, maybe I'll keep this one in the box. But I don't know now if I keep it in the box. Just not sure. Micro brawlers. Thanks for sharing, James. I appreciate that. I'll start reaching over here, grabbing the things off of this. Over there, I've got the 5 times. I lost count how many times I said. Booker T. I remember watching him in WCW as part of Harlem Heat. Well, I appreciate you for inviting your boss on. Booker T here. I loved him as part of Harlem Heat. He was definitely superior to Stevie Ray. So I got him there. I don't know why you got this, Mr. T. Hello, Sammy. Sammy J. Gothard. Hope I pronounced that right. Keeping in the non-AEW realm for a bit. I got the only thing I don't like about this figure. I'm betting James can guess what I don't like about this figure. It's right there on the hat and on the shirt. The hat and the shirt. Fuck the Hulk Hogan. But I can take the hat off, and then I can just put the hood up like that. And I could take the shirt off, I guess. Then he's just in a red outfit, I think. I might have to do that at my new place. I can tell my daughter was in here. Oh, the plastic also. I hate the plastic, but it did have cloth goods for the thing. But I can tell my daughter was in here playing with stuff because Mr. T was holding the old AEW Women's World Championship. There's no way I would have put this on him. The only way would have been my daughter playing with it. Well, welcome to the AEW crowd, Sammy. I love AEW. I love all professional wrestling. AEW makes me feel very nostalgic to the old WCW days. And so I desperately like those. Okay, let's go here. I've got my Darby Allin, complete with skateboard. Skateboard wheels actually roll. That was impressive. I think they should have linked up with Tech Decks to get nicer trucks and stuff, but that's fine. You don't have to. Again, plastic jacket instead of cloth goods, but whatever. Yep. I think you can hear him. Turn this into an ASMR channel. I'm going to put this in here so I don't lose it. Here is one of my other Stings. This one was the first Sting that AEW released, I believe. They didn't give him a jacket. He's got the half Darby face paint and the half Sting face paint. I don't know how well you can see it there. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite Sting. So, what match should you show? It's a tough one. So, it might have been. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure. What match from AEW? Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes, ladder match for the TNT title. That one is probably one of my favorites. Kenny versus Hangman at Full Gear when Hangman won the title is also a really good one, although I feel like that one needs some buildup of some of the previous Kenny versus Hangman storyline. Because the important thing to remember with Kenny versus Hangman is it was like a 2-year long build for it. And just going into the match is fire. It's great. But just going into the match without any of the build might be a little tough. Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks is really good. Any of the FTR versus Briscoes. A good Hangman documentary. What else? Any of the Briscoes versus FTR matches are going to be good. Although there is the sadness with the Briscoes versus FTR matches. To be honest, there's probably a handful of the TNT title matches that are really worth showing. And then, like, when she's ready, some of the edgier matches, like the lights out match between Kenny Omega and Moxley, or here, I'm going to say this. I maintain that the barbed wire exploding death match was a great match that the ending got botched. The what now? The barbed wire exploding ring death match. It is terrifying. It's less terrifying in the end than it probably should be. The ending was terrible. I loved the match. The ending was terrible. But here's the deal. It's, again, this is a taste thing because those style of death matches are either love them or hate them, right? You will either like them or you won't. What was the one? Britt Baker versus Penelope Ford? Lights out match? Was that it? I'm trying to remember who was the... Was it Thunder Rosa? There's Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa lights out match. That might have been it. I think that was the one. There was also one with Ty Mello in it. It was a 4-way. That one was fun. The Cody Rhodes versus Wardlow cage match. Anna Jay. Yes. Cody Rhodes versus Wardlow cage match was a lot of fun. The Blood and Guts matches are hit or miss. Some of them have been really good. Some of them have been eh. So I'm trying to remember which one was the best of those. The dog collar match was really good. Again, I'm an MJF fan. I'm a CM Punk fan. I think wrestling is better with CM Punk in it, as long as he's not a whiny little bitch and he does his job. The dog collar match was good. I'm trying to think what else. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to refresh my memory. Oh, first, because we're packing, I've got Mr. Monday Night, the whole effing show, Rob Van damn. And he came with a chair. So he's ready there. He also had the spinner belt. And that's really nice. So let's see. Let's actually see if Cage Match's list. Because I like Cage Match. Because unlike other things, it's viewer rated. And so, where's the click there? Match guide. And then click by rating. What are the top rated matches in AEW history according to Cage Match? Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay. Fucking duh. Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland. Also duh. Not a problem, man. I haven't been live in a while, and I know it's probably going to be a few weeks before I get to be live again since I'm moving. But I thought it would be nice to have one last live as I pack up my stuff, watch some WWE Raw. I can kind of half-heartedly watch it because Bronson Reed's on and he does nothing for me. But I like Seth Rollins, so, great for Seth. I like that Seth has gone back to having the blonde streak in his hair. So, yeah. So the number 3 top-rated match for AEW on Cage Match that did get 6-star from Wrestling Observer. That's not the be-all, end-all, but it's important to note. Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus Matt Jackson and the Young Bucks. This was the one at Revolution 2020, and that one definitely should be up there. As you said, you recently had watched. Get my thing here because you said you'd watched Hangman versus Swerve. There was the Hangman versus Swerve from last year that was really good. From 2023. Danielson versus MJF, Danielson versus Zack Sabre, Omega versus Ospreay. These are all ones I think I may have even mentioned. Danielson versus Omega. These are all these were all good. There's the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros 1. You mentioned. That's a high-rated match here. I don't think I'd recommend it. Darby Allin and Sting versus the Young Bucks. This would be where Darby Allin and Sting won the tag titles to lead up to Sting's retirement match. Sting really doesn't do much in that. I think it gets a good rating for nostalgia. I love Sting, and so I love the storyline they told with him. But that's more storyline, so... any of the Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielsons are going to be good. Cody versus Dustin. That's the one from Double or Nothing 2019. That's like the first Double or Nothing. That one's definitely worth watching. Pac versus Ospreay. You're hearing a lot of names repeating here. Kenny Omega versus Pac. The highest rated women's match on Cage Match is Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter from Dynamite 168 Holiday Bash. I hardly even remember that one. I'm going to have to find it. In a few months when all of these start showing up on HBO Max. I'm going to have to look that one up again. There was the triple threat match with the Dark Order and Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Almost any of the matches during Orange Cassidy's run with the International Championship, especially him losing it and then winning it back from Moxley, those are definitely up there. Pac is the man. The street fight between Trent and Chucky T versus Ortiz and Santana was really good. Every Darby Allin match is kind of a train wreck anyways, in a good way. Like, yeah, Darby's TNT title, right? But Darby's, they're all like car crashes. You gotta watch them. Keeping the packing going. Got the Cody Rhodes Throne Breaker. One. I think this is the Britt Baker that you're saying. I don't have the jacket on her, but this is the silver jacket Britt Baker. One of my favorite women's world champions from AEW, Hikaru Shida. I really hope they give her another push. I feel so sorry for Shida because she was champion through the entirety of the no crowd era or limited crowd era. And she had the stupid little women's belt, tiny one that was made for Riho, because Riho's tiny, and then Hikaru Shida, it looks kind of silly on her because it was tiny. And then one Wednesday, they introduced the new version of the belt that was bigger. And then that Sunday, she lost it to Tony Storm, maybe, I think it was. Well, I would appreciate that. I can always use more figures. I have got this Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. And I really liked him because he came with, this was during the time when he had the gimmick of having the cards. And during the picture-in-picture, he'd come out and hold the cards up to the camera. And I missed that gimmick. I also miss his vlog. His vlog hasn't been very regular for a while, and I enjoyed watching it a lot. Right next to him, I had Tymello. She's reportedly close to making it back from maternity leave. And then my favorite member of Pride and Powerful, Mike Santana, who's now killing it on TNA. I watched Ethan's religiously as well. And when he ended his Wednesday vlog and moved only to the Toy Hunt vlog, I shed a tear. And then he kind of slowed that down. Then he went off and joined WWE, and now he doesn't do any vlogs. Okay. I'm going to put Santana's Puerto Rico flag in the box of extras so they don't get lost. Almost to the end of my unboxed figures. But that doesn't mean I don't still have some good ones. I have the red and black Adam Cole Bebe, complete with Bebe on his butt. In the box here, I've got his jacket. I just took it off. It goes Adam Cole Bebe. See there? Bebe. I saw this on a Lucy. No, maybe it was in a box. I can't remember. I had to get it though. But it is the AJ Styles WCW Monday Nitro figure with Cloth Goods WCW Monday Nitro shirt. And he looks like a baby. And it really doesn't look like AJ Styles. But that's beside the point. And then I mentioned these at the start, but I'm going to pull them over here. You got to be careful. Come apart really easy. These are some of my oldest figures. And they're going to fall apart once I put them in the box. But it is the ring mounted. So I have Jeff Hardy, Edge, and Lita. They're not posable. They're pretty much stuck. I mean, like, Jeff Hardy's arms can move. Edge can pose a little bit, but they're pretty much stuck in that. And there was a fourth one. They actually came out with multiple series, so there was more after this that came out. Let me scoot a little closer so maybe you can see a little bit better. So there's the Jeff Hardy. Oddly enough, he still wears the exact same ring gear. Let's see if I can pop Edge off here. He has to stick on in a different way. I'll leave that on there. So here's the Edge one. And like I said, it's posed for him to pose on that ring. Without. Hey, I might actually have a guest come on. Give me 1 second. No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know why that's on there. Anyways, doesn't matter. Anyway, so he's posed that way, so you can't really change him very much. But of course, this was well before the Rated R Superstar Edge. And got Lita in the very, very early 2000s Whale Tail edition. It's not a bad head sculpt of it. And then the ring is designed where it can separate into multiple different rings or different things. And there were like 4 or 5 different wrestlers that you could get and put them together into this ring. But I was only ever able to find 3. So that's all I ended up getting. Well, that's enough of the wrestling figures. I have a whole bunch of micro brawlers. Like Big John Studd. I I don't know what to do with these, but they come with my pro wrestling crate every month. So, my least favorite one, Greg the Hatchet Face Valentine. I dropped one. I'll have to get him later. Hayabusa. Got so many of these. This one I do like. I'm a big fan of Danhausen, so having Santahausen. I also somewhere or another had his Halloween one, I think. There it is. I have Gangrel. I have Ricky Morton. If you liked Santahausen, Frankenhausen. Shane Douglas. I have yet to see a Danhausen full-size figure out in the wild, and it makes me sad. Matt Sydal, formerly known as Evan Bourne. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Akeem the Dream, I believe. I still have the box that my Cody Rhodes Supreme figure came in. So I've got the alternate faces, the weight belt, cloth shirt for him, as well as the alternate legs and arms. And then I mentioned that I had the Britt Baker Supreme, and I showed it earlier. I do have another pair of legs for her and arms and different heads and a shirt for her as well. So I didn't end up throwing those away. I'm trying to think what else I have. Oh, to go with the Ricky Morton, I also have the Robert Gibson. So I have both of them. I'm trying to think if I have any more. Hey, yo. Survey says one more for the good guys. I'm certain that's actually Razor Ramon, but you know. And then a guy who doesn't get nearly enough credit, in my opinion, Ultimo Dragon. Might be all of my figures currently, I think. I could get up and start taking those down over there, but the box is in between me and there right now, and that's a lot of work. So instead, I know I've shown these off before. Oh, I do have. I might have shown this off. I have this yet to open. But for an old school guy like me who's watched for a long time, I have this WWE Legends Big Bubba Rogers. And if you're an old like me, if you're an old like me, you know Big Bubba Rogers later went on to wrestle as the Big Boss Man, or just Big Bubba. This is him with the UWF championship belt. And I'm a big fan of the Big Boss Man over his time in WCW. Oh, here's another micro brawler or two. Oh, one of my other favorite micro brawlers. So this one, King Haku. It's a good one. But this is one of my other favorite micro brawlers. And this is someone that nobody knows was a wrestler because he's most known as a commentator right now. But that is RJ City. Yep. You're eating pepper right now. Love RJ City. He's one of the funniest guys in wrestling. Hands down. But I was going to show off. If you got the AEW crate, I'm sure AEW crate gets wrestling autographs in them. The Pro Wrestling crate does as well, but it's not limited to AEW, which is kind of a downside because I wish I had some more AEW signatures. But these are the ones I got so far from Pro Wrestling crate. We got Dana Brooke. Penta El Zero Mierda. Gangrel. Not even looking at these before I hold them up. This one's one of my favorites. Chucky T and Trent. Together where they belong because they're best friends. Mustafa Ali. Tatanka. That's kind of what I like. Like the AEW ones, I would like because I like a lot of AEW wrestlers. But it's really cool with this one that I get some legendary ones. Like Butterbean. Brawl for All champion Butterbean. Gotta make sure I'm holding them the right way up. Miss the best friends too. I'm so sad. I'm so sad about Chucky T. Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster. The Brooklyn Brawler. Eric Young. I hate this one so much. Zodiac. Hate Ed Leslie. You hate him. No. These two go together, so I'm going to show them in relatively quick succession. But we have Brian Skaggs. Or no, Jerry Skaggs, excuse me. And Brian Knobbs, the Nasty Boys. I have Chris Hero, also known as Cassius Ohno, when he was in NXT. I have Justin Incredible. This is probably one of my favorite ones that I've got. I'm not joking with you. William Regal. Sky Blue would be great, though. I do like Sky Blue. Lince Dorado, although I think he signed it as his independent. Mascara Dorado, I think, is what he wrestles on the indies now as. Chavo Guerrero. And then the last one, the one that will make Simon Miller on YouTube jealous of me. He's not jealous of me. Repo Man. That's the last of the ones from AEW, or from Pro Wrestling Crate. Probably my favorite one that I haven't gotten a ton personally, but I did get at least a few personally. This one is my absolute favorite. The Shockmaster. And it's addressed to me and my daughter because I met him at a small signing at the mall near my house. And he was the nicest guy you'll ever meet. And he was so down to earth and humble about, you know, what he was and how he was, right? And then I got this at a WWE event, and that is a live autograph, but unfortunately, something dripped on it, and so it's not in perfect condition anymore, and that makes me angry. And then on TikTok, you can't see it, but over here on my wall, I might reach over and grab it. I have a t-shirt, and I got a t-shirt that I got at an indie event that happens near me. It's for a small indie wrestling promotion called Zello Pro. I don't even know if they still exist. I really don't. In fact, I'm going to Google it right now just to be certain, but I don't think they've done an event in like months. They're based out of Chicago. Chicago has probably too many independents for its size. But according to Cage Match, the last event they did was in April of 2022, so over 2 years ago. So, they haven't done an event in a while, but they did one. It was actually their fourth last event called Thunderstruck out of a small town that I grew up in central Nebraska. And I did this. I created this. They're technically for sale on my merch store. I haven't sold many. Like a couple friends bought them for their things, but I'm going to show it to you because I think it's the coolest idea. And if I ever go to another meet and greet, I'm definitely ordering another one of these. Hold on a second. It's this. I designed this shirt. The link is, give me a second to go to here and click a few places. Log into this. But it's all on my link tree, which I will share in the chat here as soon as I can get back to it. paste. There you go. That's the link there. So, I made it look like a piece of like notebook paper, torn out of a notebook, and it says wrestling autographs, and it has an event and then a line, and then 16 different spots that you can have wrestlers sign. And the printing makes a perfect place for them to sign. It's so great. The wrestlers absolutely loved signing it. So holding up here so you can see where it says Zello Pro Thunderstruck, right? And the different signatures going down, and then over, and I can kind of blind when I'm showing it too. But so, because this was an indie, they had a lot of places that you could like meet and greet before the show, and then during intermission in the middle, you could go and meet the wrestlers. And most of them charged $5 to $10 for an autograph or more, right? But it had so many great wrestlers there. I got more than 16 autographs on here because I just kept finding places. And so some of them, like this is a small indie promotion, but they still had some big names there, or at least names that have gone on to be really big. So I'm going to name off a few of them. Some of them are indies that are just starting to make it, like Laney Luck and Heather Reckless. I believe Heather Reckless just got announced for NWA, I think it was. She was kind of nobody at the time. I have Chelsea Green. This was before she came back to WWE. I have one of my favorite indie wrestlers, Dan the Dad. If you haven't seen a Dan the Dad match, try to find one. He wrestles the entire match wearing like cut off jean shorts and dad New Balance shoes with the pulled up socks and a polo on and glasses, and he comes out with a coffee mug. He's great. So I have Dan the Dad. Coming over down this side, I have the two main eventers were Jonathan Gresham, who's on here, and his wife, Jordan Grace, who now is in the forefront because she's on TNA, but also just had a match the other day on NXT because of the partnership. Number 6 there, if you'll notice, the wrestler wrote a 9 next to it and changed it to 69. That's the wrestler Warhorse. He's one of my favorite indies going on right now. And then there's also GPA, who's kind of an up-and-comer. He's actually one of those names that I kind of expect to see on like the WWE ID at some point. I'm trying to think of some of the other names that were on there that might be up-and-comers. Big John Crowley. That's a name that's on here. I gotta find it. It's the top one. Top one right there. That guy, you don't see him wrestling a whole lot right now, but he is kind of the center of a whole lot of wrestling storyline in a way. That is the autograph of Colt Cabana. And I really like Colt Cabana. Super nice guy. Not a big fan of CM Punk, that Colt Cabana right now. CM Punk, not a big fan of him either. But so yeah, that is my Wrestling Autographs t-shirt. that is for sale. It is on that link tree that I sent. There's a merch link for our merch store, not our new merch store, but our old merch store. That's where that one's on. I haven't moved it over, I think, to the new merch store yet. I might have, but I don't think I did. And I might be changing new merch store to another new merch store. I don't know. But that is my wrestling figures. Like you said, yeah, I got the Rock book back there. I've read that at least twice. I've got Sting DVD. That is a full pack of Bootios, by the way. There's actual Bootios in there. That's not an empty box. I am sure they are absolute garbage now. I'm never going to open and try them. They are stale as fuck, I'm sure. But I was just impressed that it was they actually made Bootios for it. What? And then I do have that Cody LJN style figure there. I left that in the box because I don't really care much for LJN styles. I saw it available for sale. This was right after Cody left. I know LJNs are popular with people, so I thought, I'll get that one for a collector's item, maybe. Who knows? But couple more micro brawlers. Looks like. God, I got so much shit. So we got Max Moon. Max Moon. Well, thanks for the roses, James. If you don't know, Max Moon was very briefly played by Conan in WWE before he left. And it's really stupid gimmick. We've got the Mountie. And then another guy I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of his. I know that he currently is not in the best graces in his company and expected to leave. And I am sad that the industry works the way it does. That when you express your desire to leave, you tend to be buried. It's an unfortunate thing in the business. I wish it wasn't, but it's an unfortunate thing. Ricky Starks. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Ricky Starks is a fucking star. He's a star just waiting to be a star, right? And I would love to see him be a star in AEW, but I feel that he will probably just have to end up being a star in WWE. I don't know if WWE can use him properly, but I feel he was destined to be the biggest guy on the roster. And it appears his desire to go to WWE and his inability to keep his mouth shut about that is going to hinder him. Because the tough thing with WWE is their signings are a lot of what have you done lately. And when you make it known that you're planning to leave, then the other company does kind of what AEW did, and I don't like that they did it, but they did it, and it looks like they're doing it to Ray Phoenix as well. You just take them off TV and make them sit at home until the end of their contract, and that's shitty. But it's also been done since the dawn of wrestling. WWE back in the WWF days didn't do that and got burned really badly when Bobby Roode appeared on both Raw and Nitro on the same day, because Raw was pre-taped and then Nitro aired live. And so inadvertently WWF gave WCW free advertisement effectively. And the same thing with Lex Luger when he left and then went straight over to WCW. So, I think the thing with Ricky Starks, he's got all the talent in the world, but he's got to get his ego in check. What wrestlers in WWE have shown repeatedly is company men thrive. Do what they ask you to do, and you'll go far. But if you buck them and say, no, I don't want to do that, they'll find someone else to do it, and that guy will go far. And that's what Ricky Starks is going to have to do, is buck up and do what they ask him to do. Because apparently he's not doing it in AEW. He's saying, nope, I'm going to do what I want to do. I was going to show you this before I pack it away. This came out of a WWE, I think it was the Chronicles packs, but an autographed Stevie Ray. I don't believe it's numbered, though. Anywho, I think I got most of my figures packed. I got this box pretty full, so we've got only about 15 minutes left of Raw. I don't know what else I'm going to talk about. But I appreciate everyone for joining me as I pack up this room. And I appreciate the support, James, and everyone else who joined. And I don't know if Mark Jack's still over on Twitch watching me, but I sure hope he's still there. And I should, I hope it won't take too long once we get into the new house to set up my streaming studio again. But who knows? It's going to be a little chaos. But, well, it's insane how much I know, because it's insane how much ADHD and OCD do things. But thank you. I appreciate supporting you. I'll support you. You support me. We'll keep going. But thank you all for joining me. And I'm going to go ahead and end this now. And I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.